Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hack Your Lives 2022 annual board meeting. I'm Steve, and I'll be your MC for the call. Thanks you all for joining. We apologize for the delay in this. We had originally intended to do this back in December, but we ran into some specific challenges, and we postponed. We'll be hello, everybody. Most of our board members on the call. Hack Your Lives. We'll be handing off slides from one to another. We do have a Q&A session set up inside of YouTube. So if you could do us a favor and put your questions and comments in the chat there, we'll make sure we answer them at the end of the call. Okay. Again, thanks everybody for joining. I'm going to turn this over to scaling. There you go. Or James.
Yep.
You're up.
Yeah. Sorry, I pushed talk. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Again, some of you might wonder who us are, which would be weird if you're here for this call. But we are a community. I'm just going to read some of this off the slide. So, community supported organization. We promote, support, and advance the idea that everybody should be free to hack their lives in a safe and supportive environment. Which, again, I read that off the slide, but that really is kind of what we're about. Some of you may know us for one of the shows we've run, which is Defcon First. And of course, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, which is Hack Your Lives. So, yeah, Steve.
Thank you, James. Our next slide, we're introduce Dan. I think this is my slide, actually. It's my slide. So I want to introduce our board of directors. We're going to name them off one by one. Unfortunately, Academy Ford is unable to attend this evening, but we'll get each board member to introduce ourselves. Now that you know what the organization is, we'll let you know who we are. James, you want to go first?
Yeah. I'm James. I work in DevOps and security, and I like to hack stuff. And foxes are also really cool. Just gotta put that out there.
And since we're skipping Katarina Ford, we'll go on to Kyle Fox. A Fox.
Yes, I'm Kyle Fox. Or K Fox.
Excellent. Welcome. Next up, Patrick Gillespie.
Hey there, I'm Patrick. I'm also working in information security and do a lot of behind the scenes stuff for various furry conventions and enjoy bringing the craziness to Defcon.
Thank you, Patrick. Dan, you're up. Dan Hart.
Yeah, my name is Dan Hart. I try to make things reliable in the junkyard that is the cloud.
Thank you. Jason Schwarberg.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Jason Schwarberg, otherwise known as Janaeus. I've been in DevOps and SRE work for about 10 years now and been volunteering with Defcon First for about 5 years now, and also do a bunch of behind the scenes work for other cons, and yeah, enjoy it a lot.
Thank you, Jason. So I'm Steve Sekiguchi, or Tanuski. I've been involved with this organization from the beginning, along with Kyle, Dan, and Patrick. And I work also in information security, cyber security. I don't know, whatever term you'd like to use. I've been doing that forever and ever and ever. It feels like, and but I also work at a number of other cons. Tend to run for safety ops or some version of that at both furry related activities, furry related cons, but also professional related cons. So if you see me, please come say hi. Okay. Next slide. We got Dan.
Yeah, I think this one's mine. Like Steve just mentioned, the four of us have been doing this for a long time, and there's a lot more people too who we've worked with who are on board the board. But the executives this year on the board on the slide here. I just wanted to say, thank you to all of them. It's a lot of work behind the scenes to make a charity organization like this work, and these guys do a tremendous amount of work like you would not believe. I can say that because I'm probably the one who does the least of these four, but it is really an honor to work with you guys. So thank you for giving me another year of that opportunity.
Excellent. Let's see, move on to our next slide. Hello, Patrick.
Yes. Hey. So just to kind of recap what we were able to do in 2022 last year. Of course, we had our main big event, Defcon First 2022. Had over 300 guests come by our suite. We had 4 parties, a meetup, and 6 panels. We'll get a little more into the details on the next slide. But outside of DEFCON, we also collaborated with the QueerCon 22 party in the DEFCON space, as well as hosted just last weekend a meetup at Friday. That's in the future. I'm getting my Fridays mixed up. Friday Aqua last June, we had a meetup, and that's a VR chat convention. Midwest Fur Fest, we did a panel there, as well as hosting a meetup for those interested in, information security, hackers, and all that, and getting them excited about what DEF CON's all about, what we're all about, and lots of new faces at the panels. So TFF as well. We had a panel there, lots of new faces, people who have never been to DEF CON and are interested in coming. So I'm excited to see what's in store for this year and next year. We also had a panel at BLFC, and we held a class with Building Blocks in Las Vegas in 2022. I think around the time of DEF CON, right, Steve?
It was it was a little after. We did that in I think it was in September.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was really awesome that we're able to sort of bring the community to just not only DEF CON, bringing furries to DEF CON, but also bringing DEF CON to all the furry and queer spaces, and provide the environment for all this networking and stuff.
Thank you. Next slide. Jay.
Yeah, thank you. So this year was a great year at Defcon First 2022. For those of you who have been to the last few, this was the first year that we've been back in suite with all of our talks and programming since COVID. And we kicked it off really well. So we had parties again this year, 4 parties over 4 nights with 12 DJs, including a mixer that we organized with QueerCon and the Defcon First suite on Saturday night that was absolutely amazing. We also had 1 meetup in the suite, Whiskey Pups returns, and we did it again this year, as well as 6 panels, 3 panels on Saturday that were our Safe for Work track, and then 3 panels on Sunday morning with our dedicated Not Safe for Work track this year. And so in our Safe for Work track, we had speaking tech to execs, how to help leadership understand and respond to cybersecurity threats. Really good talk on how to present cybersecurity threats in a way that makes sense to the business and makes them want to invest in fixing them. Using infrastructure as code to run just-in-time virtual events. This was actually my talk based on some of the work that Alafox or Patrick and I have done on Ferality. And then from furlough to landing on your Peats and resume review workshop. This was a first for DEFCON First. Not just a talk on how to build your resume and how to get hired, but also followed by a workshop where the speaker, Taka, as well as a few resume coaches, reviewed people's resumes live and gave them feedback on how to fix their resumes to make themselves more attractive to employers. In our Not Safe for Work track, we also had 3 talks. We kicked it off with a talk on consent called Consent is Hard and So Are You. Followed up by a flogging demonstration in the suite, which went better than I could have ever imagined, called Cat and Nine Tails, an intro to flogging. And then finally, a demo from some of our friends at Building Blocks, Steven or Seacow, sex toys to use on penis and prostates, where he brought in a variety of toys and showed off what they would be used for, how to use them, as well as different lubes and other accessories and implements for sexual times. And
Awesome.
Kay.
Awesome. Kay, you're up next.
So our charity is World Central Kitchen. World Central Kitchen was founded in 2010 by Chef Jose Andres to provide food in wake of the Haiti earthquake. It has continued to respond to natural disasters, providing food assistance. They helped out distributing food during the COVID crisis for people that aren't able to prepare their own food, and it also helped out restaurants in the areas that they did that in, because if you can't go eat at a restaurant, they're not going to make very much money. They've continued to do that, providing food assistance to the people of Ukraine during the current situation in Ukraine, and have most recently responded to the Turkey-Syria earthquake with food assistance. So they're basically kind of like Doctors Without Borders, but they're more like Chefs Without Borders. Yeah.
Cool. We made a $2,000 contribution to that organization. As a result of all of your participation and support at Defcon First 2022. Okay. Our next slide is back to Patrick.
Oh, yeah. So just to kind of cover the financials of Hack Your Lives, in 2021 on the right there, this is what it looked like at the end of the year. And then on the left side here, you can see what it looked like for last year, 2022. The total, we were like gross donations by you guys to us, total receipts in 2022 was $62,949. And you know, that is an amazing amount of support from individuals. And we really appreciate you guys for supporting us, and that all goes back into the things that we do here, as we covered in the last couple slides. You know, in just about everything we can spend, we spend back into the programs. You know, all the board is entirely volunteer. None of us are paid board members. So all of the expenses that we have, you can see it's 90% in back into programs. We spent $65,000 so far in 2022. There's technically a little bit more that we need to spend to finish sending out badges from 2022 this year. And then all the admin expenses are just the overhead of, you know, accounting, legal fees, and payment processing and stuff like that. We don't have any employees or anything. And then fundraising costs are just mainly like shipping things from our donation store and stuff like that. So as you can see, we are a little bit lower in net income than we'd like to be here. Things have been picking up slowly since COVID, and you know, 2022 is a bit better with the turnout, and you know, we were thankful that we were able to receive a grant from California in 2021, and that's helped us kind of make up for the deficit of 2022. As you can see, our net income for that year was negative $9,000. So we appreciate everyone's generous support when they do contribute to Hack Your Lives, or you know, to Defcon First. Basically same thing. So thank you all for everything you've helped us achieve so far, and we look forward to what we do in 2023 this year. I was going to say next year, but we're already in February. So speaking of what we're doing in 2023.
Before we get there, though, Patrick,
Sure.
can you give people a little bit of a perspective of what it was like pre-pandemic? What individual contributions and net income looked like pre-pandemic in 2019? You still have just round numbers would be great.
I don't have that, and
Okay,
I can't look.
That's okay. That's okay.
I was not expecting the question. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I
think-
did just Shanghai you.
Like
I believe
90K?
memory serves, we were actually around 108.
Yeah, we were definitely very close
2019?
to 100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were around 108, and we netted about 10K in 2019. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to give folks on the call here an idea about how finances have changed, how COVID has impacted our activities. But as Patrick was just saying, as we lead in 2023, we hope to get back to the same size that we were in 2020, 2019, 2023.
It's even more a bigger delta than what appears here, because technically speaking, I believe a portion of that 62 was the room block.
It was.
Yeah, so it's probably closer to maybe 50 K in straight donations.
Yes, probably slightly under actually, but
Yeah.
yes,
So
47 something if I think about the size of the room block. So
so we greatly appreciate everybody who's been supporting us so far, and is able to support us in the future.
yes. Well, speaking of the future, or at least this year, let's move on to 2023 activities. Oops, sorry. I'm sorry. Let's start with the 2023 executives. That's you again, Dev.
Yeah, sorry. Like I alluded to earlier, it is a lot of work to do this, and Steve, Jay, and Patrick are still continuing to work hard at that. I am incredibly happy to announce this year that James has offered to take over the duties of secretary, and so going into 2023, I will have a little bit less work to do. And so thank you, James, for taking that on, and thank you, Steve, Jay, and Patrick, for continuing your service.
And thank you, Dan, for years of service leading up to this.
Definitely, it's been fun, and I'll still be around on the board. I'm not leaving.
Okay. With that, let's start talking about 2023 activities. So 2023 activities look similar to last year, or 2022. 2023, of course, our premier marquee event. I like that word, marquee. Makes me think of, never mind, something kinky. The marquee event is Defcon First 2023, which this year, of course, is being Las Vegas, the same alongside with Defcon during Hacker Summer Camp. This year, I'll give you a little preview. Our room block is going to be at the Flamingo this year. We chose the Flamingo for lots of reasons, mostly logistical, to make it easier for us to have access to the suite and hang together. The room will be opening in a couple weeks. We're hard at work getting that ready for you. Do not worry, we have enough rooms for all of you, so you will not lose a space or a room. We do have enough rooms in the room block for all of you. In addition to that, this year, we're already into 2023, we've had some activities already started. The 2023 Further Confusion panel, so Further Confusion San Jose FurryCon, happened back in January. We had a tremendous showing of new folks, lots and lots, as Patrick said, much like following the theme from 2022. We had a lot of new faces, and we're really excited to share both the excitement of DEFCON and to introduce new faces from both sides. We had some DEFCON folks who came to the furry thing, and we had some furry folks who came, mostly furry folks to learn about DEFCON. Patrick, you want to talk about what happened at the Frally Luma Festival?
Yeah, sure. So Friday Luma Festival was like 4 days ago. It was a little mini event on VR chat, but it had 11,000 attendees, and we hosted a Defcon First meetup there, and I think we had probably a couple hundred people across instances all gathering up and talking about what goes on at DEFCON and what's it all about, or telling stories of their previous interactions at the convention, and all the shenanigans that happened there. So it was a really good turnout. We were able to it was nice to meet some of you in virtually, but still more than a webcam, I guess. And a lot of excitement around DEFCON this year. There's more than a handful of new faces that have already said that they're making plans to be there this year. So we're excited to see our little thing grow.
Absolutely. The rest of these are in kind of chronological order, mostly. So we will be having a panel at FWA, and then we'll be also hosting a panel at Silva. Silva is in what month? FWA
June.
is in FWA is in May, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and actually, so B-Side San Francisco is actually in April. Should have been before Atlanta. B-Side San Francisco 2023, we will be doing a meetup as well.
Oh, when I looked it up, I thought it said it moved to June.
That was the 2022.
Okay, my fault.
Yeah. No, it's probably because our webpage is confusing. It's not your fault at all. So yeah, so our next event then I guess will be B-Sides San Francisco, and then we'll be having that'll be a meetup, followed by a panel at Furry Week in Atlanta in 23, rather in May, and then Silva in June, and
Yep.
then rolling into what happens next, which is of course DEFCON and B-Sides. So B-Sides Las Vegas, which happens a couple days before DEFCON, we'll be hosting a meetup there as well. And then QueerCon happens at the same time as DEFCON. It's the same time as Defcon First. We'll all be there for QueerCon. QueerCon will have a meetup in Mixer again. That's our current plan. And then rolling into the fall, we plan to have a meetup and panel at BLFC, which is in
October, November.
Excuse me, October, November. Thank you, thank you, Jay. I have the rules. I have the dates blocked on my calendar, and I've already told work I'm taking the time off, but I can't remember the dates. But yes, so BLFC will be having a meetup and a panel as well. And then of course MFF, where we'll be having a meetup and panel come Thanksgiving holiday. Okay. There are other activities, there are other small activities we have planned. They're not on this calendar, so keep an eye out on our Twitter and our Telegram, as we'll post them as they come up. Okay. Next slide, Jay.
Thank you. So yeah, we have quite a few initiatives for 2023. Given everything we've talked about today, none of these should come as a surprise. First off, we want to be more involved with the DEF CON organization. We have become a fixture at DEF CON. We had our first official fursuit parade during our show last year, where we actually paraded through closing ceremonies of DEF CON. And we want to be more involved with the organization. We want to be able to provide things in this, or work with the organization to provide things in the space, like a fursuit lounge. We want to be able to have space to show what we do in DEF CON and vice versa, and outreach to them. So we want to work more with them. Also more outreach for inclusion. We, are one of the LGBT groups at DEF CON, specifically for furries. We work with QueerCon to have mixers with them and have a very good relationship with them. We want to reach out to some of the other groups within DEF CON that have started to pop up, groups for people of color and for women at DEF CON. DEF CON historically has been very cis white male, and that's starting to change. And we want to make sure that we're working with the groups that are making that change. So this goes into the next point, more involvement with other organizations that have similar missions, right? We are not the only ones that are trying to help people hack their lives, and we want to seek out those other organizations and work with them. Another thing, and this should come as no surprise, we want to balance our income, and one of the ways that we're looking to do this is by reaching out for sponsorship. I don't want to speak too heavily about this. Steve and I have been talking at length about what sponsorship looks like. We want to do it in a way that doesn't compromise our values, but that also, provides value to you guys, to the sponsors that we're working with, and that lets us stay true to our mission. Defcon First locals. Those of you who have been around for a while may remember that prior to COVID, we used to have multiple local groups, San Francisco, Seattle, that would meet and have regular meetups locally, just like DEFCON does, right? Those of you who know DC 801 or any of the other groups. We want to restart the DEFCON First locals. But we want to do it better, and we can't just say, hey guys, you should meet up and find a place. We want to be able to support those groups and provide, activities or swag or something to these groups to help facilitate these meetups. And then finally, the DEFCON First Show Committee. One thing that we have not actually brought back since before COVID was the discipline that we had in planning the show, going into an in-person show. We used to start in January and have a lot of staff and volunteers. Unfortunately, for different reasons, a lot of people have moved on either from DEF CON or from in-person shows. And so we need to start rebuilding a show committee and, in fact, doing it bigger. The show has outgrown the 7 of us on the board. Right now, all of the things that it takes to run a con, whether that be working with the hotels, getting the room set up, figuring out talks, figuring out DJs, figuring out dances, are done by the 7 of us. And DEFCON First has outgrown us. And so this year, one of the things we're going to be looking to do is actually putting together a committee that is responsible solely for the show, that allows the board to focus on what the board needs to focus on, and provide input and guidance instead of running the whole show. So if you're interested either in helping with setting up a DEFCON First local or being on a DEFCON First show committee, please reach out to any of the board members on the call, and we will help figure out how you can help. And that's it for me. I think I go back to Steve.
Yep. So, as Jay was just saying, one of the ways you can help us year round, we really look forward to having you participate. We get great participation at the show. We really do. Our volunteers at the show are part of the reason why we're able to do this. In fact, they are the reason we're able to do this. Whether it's our volunteer coordinator or everyone else, Anna, our volunteer coordinator, or everyone else at the show, it really is up to you. We do have, as you heard, though, we're trying to develop more year-round opportunities. You can volunteer and help us out. Things like the locals, like the show committee, to help get Defcon First more organized, better organized, and help us get it to grow again. In 2019, we talk about how much larger the show was and how much more income, revenue we had. That's because of all of you and having that community. We were able to sort of spread the efforts, do things that were better organized and more in depth. So your help is tremendously appreciated. This year, as you see, also we were short on cash, and so cash donations, whether you're raffle items or direct direct contributions, which you can do it from our webpage, or Benevity. For those of you who have Benevity at your organizations, your companies, Hack Your Lives is a registered with Benevity. You can donate to Hack Your Lives directly. And for those of you who may be worried about it, we don't say the word furry anywhere in that Hack Your Lives. It really talks about supporting diversity in communities and giving people safe space to hack their lives in the way they see fit. Amazon Smile used to be a contributor, but as you can see, they are no longer. Amazon Smile officially shut down, I think it's now 3 weeks ago.
Yep, last day was yesterday.
Yeah, in 2022, we actually did receive money from Amazon Smile. Patrick, I think you have that number.
I don't have it in front of me, but it was probably close to 12, like just shy of 10, maybe around 10K.
Right, and so we'll be that's a lot of money. So we're going to be losing out on that set of donation. So if you could shift your money other ways, to Benevity, direct contributions, of course, purchasing raffle items, purchasing items from our website, from donating money for our items on the webpage, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we have
and then sponsors.
Store.
Yes, we do our store.
Donation
and then sponsors. If you could help us connect our activities with your companies, whether they're the companies you work for, the companies that you buy things from, the companies you favor, the companies you contribute to, the companies that you participate in, whether it's directly as an employee or as a consumer. We're looking for companies to help spread our word and help spread the community of Hackers with Tails, and looking for sponsorship from companies to help us out. Now, we're not going to go corporate. That's not our plan. This is not going to become Black Hat RSA. But anyway, but we are really looking for some sponsorship. We need to rebuild that kitty and help to help Defcon First and Hack Your Lives grow. In the meantime, of course, please continue to contribute to our communities. Your words, your voices are a part of what make this community so much fun and so exciting to participate in. We have a Telegram handle, which is there. Screenshot it, take a look at it. And then we also have a Discord. Our Discord server is actually really quiet. So if you're looking for a Discord server that you can join and not talk to anybody, we're good at that. What's the best thing I can say about it? Okay. Any other comments from anyone else on the board on this?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
We might mention the Atlanta thing. I don't know if that should be brought up here.
You mean FWA?
No, the Atlanta DC First local stuff.
Yes. Can you talk about that, James?
Yeah. As some people here know, I'm now in the Atlanta area, and as part of the initiative for trying to get locals going, I was trying to kick off an Atlanta thing, so that's still being planned, but should be some point this year.
Where can they find more information about it, or where can they keep following to find more information about that?
Our announcement channel.
Yeah, Twitter.
Okay. Or Twitter. Yeah. It's still getting rough edges removed, but
yeah. Twitter.com/DCFurs. We have a a Mastodon as well on defcon.social. Where DC Furs on there as well. If you've jumped off the bird already. Of course, probably our most active cross communication platform is Telegram. We have our primary Telegram channel, Defcon at Defcon First. That's linked on the slide there as well, the t.me link. And we do have a Discord server. It's not as active as the other places. But as you can see, we're on it right now. Those are our primary avenues of communication. Definitely our Twitter and our Telegram announcement channel are definitely the first places we always post any updates and information. Okay, that Discord link's expired.
Uh-oh. Sorry about that.
Discord.io/Defcon First.
Okay.
We'll
put
need
that
to
in the
update
comments
that.
for the
Yeah.
on the YouTube. Okay.
Yep,
Thank
I just
you,
dropped it in the chat as well.
Thank
There
you,
you go.
Patrick. Thank you, Jay. So let's turn this over then. If there's other comments to Q&A. Any questions from the YouTube chat?
I'll give them a couple to. There's a little bit of delay from what we say to what they hear, so give it a moment.
Excellent.
But yeah, Defcon Furs coming up here in August at Defcon. We are really excited to bring some fun activities in a new suite. I know that Steve alluded to making the decision to be at the Flamingo for logistics. We actually all traveled to Vegas, at least a portion of the board members did. And we went around and looked at different suites that were available from different hotels that are all connected to the forum. And we're trying to be conscious of accessibility to the space, the amenities of the room, and the distance from the convention center. So I'm looking forward to what we're able to do with this larger space.
We traveled at our own expenses as well.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Brandon. That guy was about to say the same thing.
Yeah. Let's see. Is this recorded? It is recorded. Yes. It'll show up on our YouTube in a few minutes after we end the stream. And it'll just be a regular YouTube video at that point.
Discord-based events similar to local furs. I think this was discussed a bit. There's no solid plans unless
hosting a virtual event.
Yeah,
I know that
we like community nights I think is more what they're talking about, like community events.
Oh, that's an idea.
Yeah,
maybe we can try and plan something for that. We'll have to circle back and see what we have planned, and if we set something up, we'll definitely announce it.
There was a question above that one from Zacchio. What about people who cannot, I assume they meant attend, can we get streams of the panels or recorded panels? So we actually did record all of the panels this year. I don't know if they ever made it up.
Yes, all of the Safe for Work panels are currently on the same YouTube channel as this live stream. Feel free to check it out after we wrap up here. I know that the especially the resume panel has been very helpful to some as they were in the process of trying to gain new employment. But yes, all of those are available on our Hack Your Lives YouTube channel. And we will continue to archive any panels that are, safe work here.
Yep, and not safe for work panels, unfortunately, for obvious reasons, are not recorded and will not be streamed.
Yeah, those are private. Doors are shut after it starts. So it's a safe environment to learn.
Nacho asks, do you guys have a policy worked out for masks, vax requirements, etc. yet for the Las Vegas Defcon event? It's far too early to really say. We know what Defcon is going to be doing, and I believe that is essentially nothing at this point from what they've said. They expect to return to normal. That being, sorry, go ahead, Ella.
Yeah, last year we required that you be masked, you wear a mask and have what the current CDC recommendation is for vaccines to be in the Defcon First suite, which was a bit more requirement than what the overall Defcon did. And we will post our policy with any changes, if any, closer to the event. We're still setting up the website and stuff for 2023, and we'll definitely have that information on there as well.
Yep, and just to add, like Aloe said, last year DEFCON only required masks, not vaccines, or was it vice versa? No, yeah, it was masks but not vaccines. We actually went more strict and required masks as well as vaccines and any boosters you were eligible for. We will not necessarily base our requirements on what DEFCON is doing, but we will base it on the state of the pandemic and current affairs at the time.
That's correct. And like last year, it will be subject to change literally up until the day of the show.
Yep.
Depending on how things are trending.
Small shout out to I think the people over at was it the Sky Talks?
Yep, Sky Talks.
Crew that we were able to get one of two of their filter fans from, where it was basically a box fan with a bunch of filters that we could use to constantly scrub the air through in our space.
Yeah, the Corsi Rosenthal boxes. And I don't see any more questions coming in.
We'll give another minute or so. And yeah, going back to the COVID policy or mask and vaccination policy, I believe that besides Las Vegas is going mask mandatory. I don't know. Does anyone know what Van Initiative is doing?
I don't think they've announced it.
Okay.
Steve, check chat.
Okay. Okie doke. Will do. Sorry. Yeah, Patrick, it's up to you.
Okay. So I see that question.
No one asked, but no one asked. But hey, Patrick, what's happening with 2022 badges?
I was waiting for the question to come up.
I was too. So I'm asking myself.
So yeah, we'll answer it for those who probably want to know and are watching the recording. But we have great news. The manufactured PCBs are either down the street from our assembler or at their venue. I'm not sure if it's been delivered yet, but it was held up for customs in the same city, and we paid the customs duties for the PCBs, so those will be arriving very soon. And then we also have all the parts needed to assemble the badge en route to the assembler. We're still using PCBX, same group that we use all of our previous years. They do really great work, amazing quality control. So once that assembly starts, we'll have a timeline for how many days it takes to get every other run done, and then we'll have start shipping those out to everybody who was supporting us last year. Thank you guys again for the patience, and it's been a process, but We're almost done with it. I would love for it to be done already, but we're getting there.
Somebody asked about next or
2023
2023.
badges.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we. Well, the teaser we have for those is they'll be there when you get to DEFCON,
Yeah.
or I'll die trying.
That's the plan. I don't want to. I don't want to deal with this shipping after DEFCON, please. If we could do anything about it. There's already art for the badge this 2023. So
What parts is Draken asking about?
parts are going to be available. You mean for the badges?
For the bomb. I think he's looking for the bomb.
Oh. We don't generally provide part kits for the blanks. We usually will say you can get the blank or the fully assembled. Just because on our end it's already hard enough to source the parts for the full badges. So we'll make as many of those as we can. But we do provide the open source schematics, the list of parts you need, the firmware and all that on our GitHub. Usually some of that gets delayed to maybe the couple days after the event if there's anything like in the firmware that may be interesting to look at. So
And for the 2022 badge, when do we think we'll have the GitHub updated with the current set of bomb and
that
code?
was updated during the show last year.
Is codes up to date?
Yeah, the bomb should be up to date. Last
How
I
about
knew.
the firmware?
I'm literally when I go to edit the bomb, I'm literally editing the same file it links to.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal.
If we make any changes
Thank-
to the firmware or whatnot for 2022 stuff, it will be on our GitHub. Everything is pretty much open source there.
We have to buy a horrendous amount of LEDs, so we'll always have LEDs at the show in case people scrape them off their badges.
Yeah, but the rest of the parts you'll have to get on your own if you're getting the blank version.
I suppose you could poke me on Telegram with your mailing address, and I'll send you LEDs.
There you go.
Any last questions before we wrap up here?
Nacho asked any other smaller community events that you have planned, like board game nights, etc. That is something that came up. We're going to discuss some community events. We're also going to be working on Defcon First locals, which will give you a chance to do those things in person. So no solid plans at the minute, but there will hopefully be more events that happen outside of Defcon and outside of conventions this year.
That's correct. We do hope to be able to start like board game in the Bay Area in the spring. So. Okay. If there are no more questions, I want to thank everybody for attending. Those of you online and members here, thank you so much for your hard work. All of you attending, thank you for your attention. We appreciate it. If you have any further questions, please put them in the Telegram if you have access to it. Address them to either Alo or myself, and we'll make sure we get back to them and get the answer to them. We'll also keep monitoring the YouTube. If there's questions, put them in chat there, but we may not be as quick to get to it. Okay. Thank you all again for
Yes, thank you.
participating. And we hope to see you this year in Vegas. Thanks, everyone.